this is Hayley Kamatra bringing you Pokemon Art Academy. We are now into episode 7 of my series, and today I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I know that I said in my previous episode that I was going to do the mini lessons involving Gengar, Pachirisu, and Pichu, but I realized that there was something that I wanted to do before OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire gets released, and in order for me to do that, I have to do the NK lesson first. Now, to be honest, I'm dreading the NK lesson a little bit because this is involving construction shapes, and I had never, done construction shapes. I never got that far in any of the art classes that I had taken, so I'm really scared, but if I'm going to improve as an artist, I've got to go into uncharted waters, so let's speed up! Now, since we're on the subject of Pokemon OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire, I guess what I'll talk about today will be the things that I'm looking forward to experiencing from those games, and also what I'm hoping to experience from those games. Now, I've pre-ordered both games, but I'm still not entirely sure which one I'm going to play. I think I may do AlphaSapphire. I've always preferred Kyogre over Groudon anyway. I've always loved that. So I think I'm going to be playing AlphaSapphire, but I'm still not 100% sure, which is why I have pre-ordered both of them. Where to begin? I guess I'll start with the stuff from the original games, the Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, and what they're going to be bringing into OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire. I think I'll start with the old stuff. Now, I've seen some trailers for the OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire, and I saw that on one of the trailers they had the scene where Professor Birch was running away from the Poochyena. That I always found hilarious when they were doing that in Ruby and Sapphire. And I also, I'm also glad that they brought the Poochyena in particular. When I played Pokemon Emerald and I saw that Professor Birch was being chased by a Zigzagoon, that just didn't make sense to me. Poochyena always felt like it looked more intimidating than Zigzagoon. So I was glad that they brought the Poochyena back, and you know, the improved graphics. You could see. I had mentioned before that the overworld sprites in Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, they had the overworld sprites of Pokemon compared with people, and it brought size and perspective. I'm glad that they did that a lot with OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire, and you could see how small the Poochyena is compared to Professor Birch, but it still looks so threatening. It's so intimidating. That is something that I really like. Even though that's only something that happens for a few seconds, that is just something that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm also looking forward to the Pokemon contests, knowing that they have brought so many new moves, how all these moves are going to be categorized, like, what will this move do? Does it affect Pokemon that are up front or Pokemon that are in the back? How many hearts is it going to give? That is going to be interesting. And how are they going to classify this move? Are they going to classify it as a beauty move or as a clever move? Because that's something that they've changed. That they changed smart to clever, which seems more appropriate to call it clever than smart. So that's going to be interesting to experience the new and improved Pokemon contests, and that's going to be really interesting. One thing that I am really, really loving that they have brought back is the use of the secret bases the ability to use secret power in order to create these secret bases. Now they're called super secret bases in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I'm not entirely sure why they're called super secret bases, but you know, I've um, it's something that I've always enjoyed doing whenever I played Ruby and Sapphire. That I could I could explore the region, and I can see what kind of layout in these spaces would suit my taste personally. Um, and that is something that I've always enjoyed. It's the exploration of the region to find, okay, does this cave suit me better than this bush, or does this bush suit me better than this tree? How accessible is it? How big is it? How is this going to work? That is something that I've always enjoyed in the older games, and I'm looking forward to experiencing that in the new games. Something else that I'm glad that they've brought back, I knew that it had to be coming because I didn't see how it would be appropriate any other way. I'm glad that they had brought back diving into the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because really you can't really access Pseudopolis City without diving unless you've got your Pokemon that knows fly. Uh, but um, I'm glad that they brought the diving back, so you can go through the seaweed and look for Pokemon there, and look for possible treasures, and how you can access different areas of routes by diving down, swimming under the water, and then coming back up. That is going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. Um, and I'm glad that they also brought back the mock bike and the acro bike. One of the interesting things about Ruby and Sapphire, the original games, is that you can only have one bike at a time, and depending on what kind of bike you have, you can hop onto the rails and access this part of the route, or you can have the mock bike and just ride up that slippery slope to access a different part of that route. It just brings the exploration of that part of the game back into the newer versions, and that is going to be really exciting. A couple of things that they haven't shown off yet in the new games that I'm hoping that they're going to bring back from the old games. Um, there's a couple of stuff that I'm hoping that they're going to do. One of the things that I am hoping that they'll bring back is the ability to collect the volcanic ash. Now, there's that town. I'm not entirely sure what it's called, but there's that town where the patches of grass next to it, they're covered in the volcanic ash from the volcano, and you have to go through the grass in order to collect this much ash. And if you do collect that much ash, you can fashion the glass flutes. If you recall, if you've played Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, you'll recall that different colored flutes do different things. Like, I think the red flute, it snaps a Pokemon out of infatuation. The blue flute wakes Pokemon up, and the yellow flute snaps them out of confusion. That is something that I'm hoping that they're going to implement again. Because that was fun going through the grass to collect the ash, and it was also fun to see because that was the patch of grass where the spindas appeared, and it was always interesting to see the different spots on spindas' bodies. Um, Something else that I'm hoping that they'll bring back will be the Battle Frontier. Now, that's something that a lot of people are hoping will come back into the Battle Frontier, because that's one of the things about Pokemon Emerald that brings more interest and excitement into the game that Ruby and Sapphire didn't originally have, because they use different strategies uh, in order to uh, get your battles done and win your badges from the battle frontier. Your symbols. That's what they're called. They're symbols. Um, and something else that I'm hoping that they're going to bring back is the use of the Weather Institute. That's where you get your cast form, and it's also how in by accessing the Weather Institute, you find out where there's a lot of rain going on or where there's a lot of sun going on, and that's where you can find Kyogre and Groudon. I'm hoping that they're going to bring that back in too, and I'm hoping that they'll actually implement it a little bit more, because it was a little bit disappointing how little it contributes to the game. You've got your sandstorms and you've got snow, and I'm just hoping that you can that you can use the Weather Institute a little bit more. Now, there's a lot of new stuff that they're bringing back into the games, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing the new stuff too. The most exciting that they have confirmed for me personally is the use of free flying. Now, you've seen the trailers. You've seen that your player character gets to ride on the back of Megalatios and Megalatias in order to access new places and um, well, not. Let me rephrase that. In order to fly to different areas, and some of them have the the warp holes that take you to a place where you can access legendary Pokemon. That is exciting, but the free flying itself is is exciting enough for me, because the only other game that where you have free flying is the Pokemon Ranger Guardian signs. I am really excited that you get to ride on Megalatios and Megalatias. Now, I don't know if that's exclusive to their Mega Evolutions. It probably is, but even if it is exclusive to Mega Evolutions, it just confirms that you don't necessarily have to be in a battle in order to activate your Mega Evolution, because you would have to Mega Evolve them in order to fly. So that's exciting that it's not exclusive to battles. Um, Now, a lot of other things that I'm excited about. One of them is the confirmation of new Mega Evolutions in this game. Now, there are several Pokemon that are getting Mega Evolutions, and I just said to myself, yes, that that makes sense that they get that Mega Evolution. One of which is Lopunny. And the reason why I am so happy that Lopunny gets a Mega Evolution is because I am a big fan of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, and one of my favorite games is the Explorers of Sky. Now, if you've played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, you would know that part of the story, part of the after story, is you get to meet this team of Pokemon called Team Charm, and they consist of the leader, Lopunny, and two other Pokemon, which are Gardevoir and Medicham. Now, in Pokemon X and Y, Gardevoir and Medicham both got Mega Evolutions, but Lopunny didn't. And I was just thinking to myself, well, that just doesn't make sense, because uh, you know. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon probably doesn't have anything to do with Lopunny getting a Mega Evolution, but in my mind, it just didn't make sense for for Gardevoir and Medicham to get Mega Evolutions and Lopunny didn't. It just didn't make sense to me personally, and that's just probably my opinion. But I am so glad that Lopunny gets a Mega Evolution, and it becomes a normal fighting type. That is a unique type combination, and I am such a sucker for Pokemon that have unique types, unique type combinations. Same thing goes for Altaria. It becomes a dragon fairy type, and and that makes sense too. That it just looks like it's perfect for the uh, uh, getting the fairy typing, which allows them to fight other dragon Pokemon and yet not be susceptible to dragon type attacks, which it's normally weak to because of its fairy typing. So that just makes a lot of sense that Altaria uh, gets that mega evolution. Um, I am also happy that Swampert and Sceptile both got mega evolutions because when Pokemon X and Y got released and you get your mystery gift Torchic that has the Blazikenite, I was thinking to myself, now why in the world would they give a mega evolution to Blaziken and not to Swampert and Sceptile as well? So I was anticipating that they would both get mega evolutions and so happy that they got those mega evolutions. Um, now I'll just say right now that when I play AlphaSapphire, I am definitely going to use Trico as my starter Pokemon because um, first of all, again, there's a unique typing combination: grass and dragon. Once it mega evolves, that is one. That is one reason why I'm liking that. Another is I used to be. I used to play. I used to choose Torchic a lot when I was playing the Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. Like almost every time, I would choose Torchic, but because of the attention that it got through Pokemon X and Y, that you get it as a mystery gift and it gets its Mega Stone, it just kind of lost its value to me. And plus the fact that that there are two other starter Pokemon that are fire fighting types, um, it it just didn't make it so special to me anymore. Um, um, I'm also glad that they're going to be implementing Mega Evolution in your Pokemon contests, as they showed, like, one of your rivals has an Altaria and it Mega Evolves during a Pokemon contest. That is going to be exciting. That's going to take some skill in order to time that right, because it seems like you have to wait until you get your maximum number of stars in order to mega evolve your Pokemon or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but but if it does work like that, that's going to take some serious timing in order to get that right. I'm also excited about the primal reversions of Groudon and Kyogre because I was disappointed when they downgraded Drought and Drizzle to lasting only 5 turns instead of being a permanent weather condition, because that is what I felt should have been how Drought and Drizzle was going to use. How it was supposed to be used. It was supposed to be like a permanent condition, and now they are uh, through the primal reversions. They are not only bringing back the original strength of Drought and Drizzle by giving a different ability that gives that strength, but it also makes it stronger by negating other weather conditions. Like when you have the extreme heat, you can't have rain, you can't have snow, um, and you can't have sandstorms. And also in that extreme sunlight, the water attacks won't work, which is going to be great for Primal Groudon because it becoming a fire and ground type, it would have that would have negated. Um, that water would have made quick work of fire and ground types if it doesn't have that extreme heat. Now, I feel like Kyogre gets the shorter end of that rope because when you've got the rain, uh, it does negate uh, normal sun and snow and sandstorms, but it doesn't. It it eliminates fire attacks, which is something that Kyogre is already strong against. It doesn't get hurt much by fire attacks, so have felt better if the stronger rain that Primal Kyogre provides has a way of negating a an attack that it's strong that it's weak against. Um, but anyway, something else that I like. I've seen this in the demo plays. Now I've never played the demo myself, but what I have seen from demo plays, you can use the circle pad to sneak on Pokemon, and that is going to be exciting. Personally, I didn't like skating that much because it felt a little hard to control, but it makes more sense that you use the circle pad and just gently move it in one direction in order to quietly sneak up on your Pokemon in order to try to catch it. That is exciting. The anticipation and all that. I'm glad that they're using horde battles in order to get trainers. In order to have trainers attack you using horde battles, because that feels it makes more sense when people talk about your player taking out Team Magma or Team Aqua, if you have more underlings that you are eliminating at the same time. It just makes better sense. Um, Now it is disappointing that horde battles tend to have a lot of Pokemon that are weaker as far as level is concerned. But I guess that's how you're expected to survive in horde battles because those Pokemon are not as strong as other Pokemon would be in the wild. Um, uh, Now going back to secret bases, one of the new things that they've brought into the game is the ability to use more decorations in your secret bases. Because I remember in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, you were limited to using only like what is it, 16 different decorations. So you can only use like one table and one chair and a few dolls, maybe a couple of rugs and some posters, and that would be the most that you would do, and you would have to plan that. What it looks like in the trailers, it looks like that you can use more decorations and you don't have a limit on that. So it looks to me like if it fits in your secret base, then you can use it, and that is something that I really enjoy. Uh, I didn't like being limited, especially if you have a larger size base and you're only limited to 16 decorations. It would make the base feel like a lot of empty space that's just wasted. Um, but you don't have to worry about that. It didn't look like that you have to worry about that. And I'm also excited that you have the ability to share your secret bases using QR codes. It's very similar to how you share your me with other people playing Tomodachi Life. How you use QR codes in order to access other people's secret bases, and that is going to be exciting. And one final thing that I'm looking forward to using in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is the cosplay Pikachu. But I'm going to be talking more about that in a future episode. Okay, so that takes care of the NK lesson, and to be honest, I am exhausted from doing all that. I've been recording for like about 40 minutes. Of course, with my speed up, it would be reduced to like 20 minutes or something like that. But, drawing my own construction shapes, that drawing my own outline using construction shapes, that was exhausting. But I think it's pretty well worth it. I think I drew the eyes wrong, but this for my first time using construction shapes, I don't think I did too shabby. Um, so what I'm going to do in my next episode is I am going to be taking on Oh wait, there's a rule first. Let me skip on. Come on. Yay, mammal swine. And Charmander, so cute. So in my next episode, I am going to be taking on the Pikachu final exam for the novice course because I want to do something special with this Pikachu before Pokemon OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire gets released. After I do complete that Pikachu lesson, then I'll go back to the mini lessons involving Togepi, which is Pachirisu, Gengar, and Pichu, and I'll also tackle the mini lessons involving Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Victini. Boy, do these look daunting. But in the comment section below, tell me about what you're looking forward to when OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire gets released. Alright then, see you later!